Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live. It's your favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. We are back. You already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Hit the like button if leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL. For me, at BD Williams 18. And then 10 supplements. Use PDL for 35% off. We got a little mailbag episode today. We got our traditional bi-week mailbag. I think we've done this like 3 years in a row. The traditional PDL
annual, yes, the annual mailbag show. Yes,
sir.
We're back at it. The bi-week show. We bring this one to you, and you know what? We did 2 years in a row. We did this 2 years in a row. Where we put it out on Twitter. We told Twitter, hey, we're having a mailbag episode, but we never told YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this time we flipped it. We didn't even tell Twitter. This is all YouTube comments. These are coming from people who, are TDL members, so they're seeing exclusive content, so we're seeing some contributions from them. So we're definitely going to shout those people out. We got some good questions on deck here. Both sides of the ball. It seems like, most people were asking a lot of defensive questions here, but we got some offensive questions as well in there. How about we just jump into it? Why don't we just go straight into it?
Let's jump right into it.
All right. So we'll start off here from Michael. He says, there seems to be zero interior pressure. Is the interior defensive line not doing well, or is Graham's scheme not doing enough to manufacture pressure? Stuns blitzes. Well, they're blitzing an incredible amount. At the time of my charting at this point, it's like 36% of their calls are blitzes. So they're blitzing a ton. So it's not, you can't say Patrick Graham's not doing enough. And especially because a lot of the plays that we're seeing Max Crosby have pressure or make a play, especially against the run, it's a blitz where someone is coming off the edge, right? So that's how they're kind of manufacturing that interior pressure. It's with Max Crosby because these other guys aren't winning their one-on-ones, consistently enough where it's like, yeah, this is something that we can hang our hat on. Bilal Nichols, any of these guys in terms of winning their interior one-on-ones in the pass rush game. So, can Patrick Graham do more? Sure, I mean, he's going to have to keep on pulling whatever he can out of his hat as long as the interior pass rush isn't materializing. But I would say mostly it's a personnel problem.
Yeah, I mean, they're not changing up the defensive line either. I don't see them trying to pick anybody up right now. I think they like what they see for some reason. I don't know. They didn't really try to mix it up. They didn't really address the defensive tackle position that much in free agency either. I mean, Bilal Nichols was very underwhelming, even as a signing, because he never started before, so you're taking basically a guess on him. You're basically betting on him, kind of a cheap option. I know a lot of people wanted Sue out there, but nobody's picked up Sue, so we can't really be like, why have they picked up Sue? It's like, well, the whole NFL hasn't picked up Sue yet. I mean, we're in deep into October. I mean, it's already week 7. I mean, there's still no Ndamukong Suh, so I mean, there's no injury with him or anything like that. So it must be something else besides just, what he's going through or why he's on the sideline. It's just not the Raiders. So who knows what they're going to do at this defensive tackle position, man. If they give up draft picks or try to do something big next year, I don't know. I feel like they signed up the offense. They got to keep building on this defense, to the draft or something next year, because the defense is not holding its weight. Let's say that. People can say they like the defense or whatever, but they're just not holding its weight. And it's definitely a part of that is there's no interior pass rush at all. So
yeah, someone's got to give. They're going to have to start manufacturing some things. So we'll see where it goes from there. This next one, mostly for you here, Marcus. Josh Jacobs being so successful running behind a fullback most of the game, why would the Raiders coaches decide to run single back in the red zone, especially with all of the tight end and offensive tackle injuries lately?
See, I'm different than other people. I don't mind shotgun runs in the goal line. I think shotgun runs in the goal line are actually better because you spread out the box. There's a smaller. I mean, there's only six in the box right there. I think Jacobs was open. I mean, it was him and Justin Reed. You got to take on Justin Reed at that point. Make Justin Reed tackle you. So I don't mind shotgun runs. I think sometimes, I know some people hate that because I guess it's because he's further back, or even though they're at the same spot. I never understood that the difference, but I guess the forward motion of the running back when he's getting the handoff, maybe, and maybe because he's standing still before he moves. Maybe that's kind of what people don't like about it, but I still think that that hole is there, in my opinion. We could talk about the play call or whatever, but the hole was there. I mean, he just decided he didn't want to take on Justin Reed that minute at that point in time and try to run him over and take his head off. But hey, that was his decision. And that was kind of something I always say about Josh Jacobs all the time. It's like sometimes he doesn't want to just use his pads, but like when he's up in the open field, he always does it. But inside the trenches, I want him to be able to do that too, cause some impact and make guys not want to tackle you at all. So when they get in open field later in the game, they definitely don't want to tackle you. So I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add on that is as far as Josh Jacobs goes, I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was going to say. All right, let's go on. Let's go on here. All right, I'm going to jump back down here to get a defensive question. People talk about Patrick Graham having one of the more complex defensive schemes in the NFL, especially coming from Gus Bradley's Play Cover 3 Until I Die last year. Which players are showing the ability to understand it and adapt? Which players seem like they just aren't keeping up with it? Okay, this is a good question here. I would say that in comparison to week one, Patrick Graham is definitely dialing it back and getting simpler and simpler as we've gone through this year. So, I mean, especially like against the Chiefs, it was honestly the simplest game plan so far as like the volume that they were, using out there. Probably people aren't going to like to hear that I'm saying that, but clearly I think Graham is valuing like scaling things back. But the guys who I'm seeing some signs of, but it's slow. Okay, I know that fans are down on Trayvon Moore and Devon Diablo. I will critique these guys as long as they're making mistakes, but I'm definitely seeing some signs of growth from these guys, especially last game. Kansas City was probably their best game, both of those guys. So I just think it's a matter of these guys getting up to speed around them. Guys like Daron Harmon know the scheme, but they're not athletically as talented as some of these other players. So when these younger guys are at the same level, it's slow, it's gradual, but as these younger guys get up to the speed with the veterans, I think the defense should improve. At least in the back seven.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into this one. Did we already? Yes. McDaniels was supposed to be the 12 personnel guy, and he had Waller watching Gronk video in the preseason. Waller's converted receiver, part of the problem. Getting Waller going, that McDaniels got used to tight ends with Gronk's skill set. Okay, I see what he's saying here. And Waller is too different of a player to Gronk's game. He's saying that there's no comp. It's not a good comp, so maybe McDaniels doesn't know how to use him. What do you think?
I wouldn't say he doesn't know how to use him. I think that they're more just trying to figure out how to use everybody in this offense. I don't think they had a bad game plan for him again with the Broncos. I mean, he had a couple good catches for first downs in that game, and they're trying to hit him on the deep on the seam a couple times and then they're missing him. So, I mean, he has some opportunities in this offense. I just think I wouldn't say they don't know how to use him. I would just say that they're trying to get Devontae Adams involved as well. They're trying to figure out how to get Devontae his targets. I mean, they got to try to figure out how to get Hunter Renfro his targets. It's I don't think Josh McDaniels realized when he traded for Devontae Adams, how much of a diva he is a little bit when it comes to targets. So I don't think they realized that. I don't think everybody kind of downplayed that, but he's real diva-ish. I mean, it's hilarious actually to watch on tape. It'll be like the first play of the game. He'll throw to Matt Collins. Devontae's like, he's looking at Derek like, what are you doing? Like, why are you know what I'm saying? So it's it's I don't think they're expecting that. So I'm sure Devontae is like, hey man, like what are you guys doing? Like we're losing. Why aren't you doing the ball? So
Right.
they're trying to figure out where to put Devontae. Like the last two games, he's played X. He hasn't really played Z like he played the first 3 or 4. Um, you know,
He's like, oh, Matt Collins is playing X. He's getting all the targets. I'm playing X now.
I play X. He's also exactly PD. Exactly. He went right. He went right to coach. So Wise Hall is getting more targets now. So he's playing the Randy Moss role. Okay, I'm Randy Moss now.
Yeah.
All right. He's getting all these fades. You see the fades, the deep routes. He's getting all the Randy Moss stuff now. he's getting all the Moss stuff. So I'm telling you, I don't think they really expected that either. Which I don't know why you didn't. The guy got like 170 targets a game. Like those you only get 170 targets unless you're a diva. I mean, there's no guys who Cooper Cup's probably the biggest diva. You got people don't even realize it, but I bet Cooper Cup is a big time diva. Let him go to somewhere else and not get 196 targets. He's gonna be pissed. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's those guys they're just like that. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I think that actually is a good thing because that's what they're playmakers. They want the ball, right? But yeah, I don't think McDaniels was expecting that. Let's just keep it real. He wasn't expecting that. He thought he's gonna be, because Adams was talking about, yeah, throw the ball to everybody. If you double team me, throw to Waller, he didn't really mean that. That wasn't true.
Yeah, he was like, well, yeah, like once or twice. Like, don't do it all game. Hold on.
Like, wait a second.
Whoa. Like, not like on third down, not on the red zone. There's stipulations.
The game on the line. What are you doing? Who cares? Double T, triple T, it doesn't matter. Show it to me. Yes, but you gotta like that mentality, though. You do.
I'm with you. I definitely agree that the crux of the passing offense is like hiccups is fitting Davante Adams into this offense and how he fits and where his acumen is, and is he on the same page with Derek Carr? He's playing multiple positions. It's a lot to take in, right? So that's where the issue is, as far as like people not getting targets or not getting looks or Derek Carr being late or something like that. That's like mostly what it is. These guys are going to get it ironed out. They should hopefully get it ironed out, because that's really the Raiders' only hope if they do. Okay, let's move on here. Next question. What can we do to improve the issues in our defense scheme-wise without having to sign new guys? We got the interior pass rush question here and linebackers in coverage. Okay, so I do think that we're seeing a shift towards away from zone to more man coverage. And I think that simplifies Devon Diablo's role. It allows him to, just be focused on like what his key is and who his guy is. He doesn't have to worry about getting to a depth. He doesn't have to worry about, pattern matching and all that extra stuff while he's also having to be a linebacker and play the run, right? So seeing him in man coverage, I think that there definitely was an improvement in his play and his speed on the field, like his processing speed. So, doing things like that, I think, like I said before, the simplification. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. I think that's what's going to end up driving the improvement. Okay, yeah, you want to add something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, simplify it, man. Just play some cover 2, man. I mean, play a little cover 2, play some drop zone, play a little more drop stuff, and make these guys dink and dunk, play tackle. I mean, you don't have a lot of talent. I mean, you don't have to. What they're doing against the Chiefs, that was some exotic stuff, man. That was exotic. You need some really good secondary. You need the Eagles secondary to do that game plan that they had. You needed Bradbury. You needed Darius Slay. You got your Jones to lock up the other guys while you double team and lock up Travis Kelce. That's what you needed. But you got to meet Robinson and some of those other guys out there.
Yeah, we don't want to throw too much slander because we'll have people showing up in our mentions for months.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, but we'll move on here. Throw one to the offensive side. Did we get this one? Aha! Here we go. So this one is this is for you, Marcus. Apparently, you contradicted Dan Orlovsky. And this guy's asking, why is Dan Orlovsky's breakdown of Derek Carr not targeting Davante Adams? Why is that incorrect? He's basing it on X's and O's. Thanks, TDO.
To be honest, I don't think he's basing it on X's and O's. I think he was told by ESPN to go find Davante Adams wide open. And he did his job. He did his job very well. I think the first one, if you want to go clip by clip, the first clip, I don't know what Derek was looking at. I on that one, I kind of explained it that maybe Derek thought the cover two guy was going to do his job, but it was probably one of the worst cover two drops I've ever seen. So maybe that confused Derek. He's like, what is that guy doing? Because he just kept dropping. They're playing cover two. It was like he was playing cover three. It was like cover three drop he did. Maybe that confused Carr. He's expecting the guy, but I don't know why he missed that one. I mean, the other one, he had Mac Hollins open on the actual read, and if he anticipated it, then it wouldn't even been. We wouldn't even talk about Devontae Adams being open for like 4 yards, maybe. And then the touchdown one is when Devontae Adams, did a little freelancing, and he's supposed to do a route that's supposed to go in and kind of be like a kind of a out and then inside route, right? And I kind of showed a clip of them running it versus the Cardinals, and he kind of just did his thing. And then so it looks like, yeah, he's wide open. But if you're Derek Carr and you know that the guy's supposed to come back inside and there's no safety on the top of Mac Hollins, why would you go to the side where there's a safety on the top if you know he's coming back inside? You're gonna go to the safety, you go to the side, but there's no safety. So I don't know. That's just reading football to me. I feel like you just gotta like if you're just imagine if you're playing quarterback and you know the routes and there's a safety that's going to be route right where you anticipate the route to come in. You're going to go where there's no safety and there's a one-on-one.
Yeah, I think, and when to just go back on this question, he said he's basing it off X's and O's. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe what Dan Orlovsky's whole point was he doesn't care about the regression. He's saying just throw it to Devontae Adams, right?
Yeah, I mean
that was like the point of the whole thing, right? It's like so he's like sometimes it's not about the progression, sometimes it's not about coaching. This guy's always open, right? Like that's what he's saying. It's not X's and O's. He's saying just throw it to Devontae Adams,
Yeah, which I
there's timing.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, hey, if Derek Carr saw Devontae Adams on that route he was supposed to run, and they want to throw a back shoulder real quick before the safety gets over there, do it. Hey, but you got to get that timing done. That's Devontae Adams.
Timing. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. That's Devontae Adams. You throw to him all the time. I don't care. It wouldn't bother me. It would bother some other people. I know some other people like, why isn't Renfrow getting his targets? I wouldn't care. They can throw to Devontae Adams 20 times. I'm cool with it. Yes. It wouldn't bother me. I'm just saying, if you're going to be like, oh, let's show him doing this. I mean, show him missing Mac Hollins until he's supposed to anticipate it and hit the window. And then you wouldn't even be talking about that. You'd be talking about, oh, that's not a great throw. What anticipation in between the two safeties in between that zone coverage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. We're basing it off the progression. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's move on here. This question is about Trayvon Merrick. He was playing a lot of man coverage against Kansas City. This question from JP Raider. What's going on, JP? Do you see the Raiders using Merrick more in the role he was in versus Kansas City going forward? Was that just a one-off special assignment? So Merrick was injured, right? So we saw he was out one game. Before that, though, when they got into cover one, Merrick would come down in the box and play man on the tight end. Like that is their scheme, right? So that wasn't special. The special part of it was Jonathan Abram coming and doubling Kelce, right? That was the special part of it. So, as like that as far as like that goes, the doubling, yeah, that's just for Kelce. But Trayvon Merrick will come down and play man coverage on tight ends. Like that's his role in this defensive man coverage schemes.
Okay. That's exciting to see, though.
Yes, I agree. I've been banging the table for that. If you've been watching TDL since last season, that's what I've been talking about. All right, let's move ahead here. Okay, yeah, this one's for you here. Why hasn't Ziegler? How do you say this guy's name? Ziegler?
Yeah, Ziegler.
Ziegler. Why hasn't Ziegler made a move for a DT or a CB? You're probably more tapped into free agent stuff and all that. So I'll let you handle this one.
For cornerback, I mean, I don't know what talent there really is out there. I mean, unless you go get William Jackson. I mean, how much of a scheme fit is William Jackson? I mean, he could play cover two, I guess. I mean, he's not doing it very well out in Washington. So they want to move him out. But I mean, somebody that can come in and play one of those two high coverages, play some quarters. And he played a lot for Paul Gunther, so he has an understanding of quarters and those two high coverages and those cover two type of things. So they could go out. They could go out and get William Jackson and fill a hole, but I mean, I feel like you got to win this next game first before we start like getting to like trying to figure out what to do going forward. Before we start looking at the free agency, like I think it's a big game to make sure we get to 2-4 at least, right? And then maybe we can see something in front of them because I mean, they lose this game. Who cares at that point? I mean, what are we doing? Why are we trading for who we want to trade for? So let's get past Sunday. Let's figure out if we can beat a team that we should beat, right? If, we're talented, whatever. We're more talented than this team, right? So um, if we have the talent and we beat teams like this, then beat them, and then maybe we'll talk about filling in some areas. But I mean, at this point, I mean, if we keep losing, like who cares? I mean, there's really no point in filling up.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
just play Matthew Butler and Neil Farrell the rest of the year. Let's just say,
Right.
Hey,
Yes.
just let him go.
Someone said on Twitter, Raiders are 1-4. They're going to be sellers, not buyers, right now at the trade deadline. Okay, so like let's not pretend like they're just one cornerback away from going on a 10-0 run here. Come on. All right, so I think we got time here for one more. This one is a question about Abram. Is he too good going downhill and take him off the field, even though his coverage is lacking? Can Graham take the defense to the next level if added Jesse? I want Jesse Bates. Yeah, of course. If you added Jesse Bates, I didn't even see that last one when I took that clip. Okay, yeah. So Jonathan Abram is actually doing fine in coverage. Like it's never going to be like his strong suit, but he's like definitely having his best cover year for sure. And like it took long enough. It was 4 years in the NFL before he was like serviceable and not a liability out there. I think people are definitely like I did show like he got beat, but the guy dropped it. Yeah, like that's gonna happen. But he's been in phase. He's been doing his job. He's been doing a solid job. I think his completion percentage is like 56% or something like that. A lot right now. So he's fine. And if with Hobbs gone, you take Abrams off the field because you want coverage, right? Who's hitting guys across the middle, who's making splash plays in the secondary with big hits and big tag, like who's doing that? Absent Abram with Hobbs out. So Abram has to be there. He's important to this defense. All right. And anything else you want to add? Mailbag. Did you get any questions from anywhere else? Any other sources?
No, I do want to add to Abram, but that I think more about moving him and Farrell. So we hear about like those rumors about, you got to move Farrell and Abram. I mean, I think it's more about re-signing them at the end of the year. I mean, at this point, right, their options out. They're not playing into the fifth year. Do you re-sign those guys? At this point, I think you get value out of them if you try to trade something and try to get something out of them before they hit the market, and because they're gone when this is over. So I think that more shows that to everybody that they're not part of the future. I don't think it really has to do with how they're playing. I think some people are like saying Abram sucks, that's why they're moving him. Farrell sucks or whatever. It's not really about that. It's really more that they didn't pick up their fifth year option, to be honest. So let's move these guys. They probably have some. I mean, that's what I think they're going to do. Pretty much going forward is draft defense. I think that's their viewpoint. They signed every single offensive player they can, right?
Right.
And I mean, if they do pick up some offensive linemen, that's fine, and we will appreciate that. But I think they're going to focus on defense, so that's why I think we're seeing Abram and Farrell getting on the move more than their talent and how they're performing. Just saying.
I mean, something definitely has to give, but Abram and Farrell are doing just fine.
Yeah,
I guess no team would trade for Abram. Come on, but I guess Farrell is interesting if a team thinks that that's a starting defensive end for them. Like I don't know if he's made that case whatsoever with his film, but if a team thinks like, hey, this is an area where we really need help. And, we had a high grade on Farrell and we like what he's doing, I guess. Like you could trade maybe like a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick for him or something like that. At that point, Raiders fans would have a conniption fit if they just got rid of the 1st-round pick that everyone says is a bust for a 5th-round pick. So I would rather that not happen, to be honest with you. Like, what's the point? A 5th-round pick? Come on. All right, so I think that's it. I think we can call it quits right now. 25 minutes in for the mailbag episode. We appreciate the listeners. We're very grateful to you guys. Thank you for shooting us these great questions. I hope that we answer. I took a picture of all the ones that we saw in there, so I think that's it. So thanks for everyone who contributed. If you didn't see it, we really apologize. We'll try to make it up to you and get you with the question next time. Anything else, Marcus?
No, man, we're good. I appreciate you guys listening and watching. And also hit the subscribe button. Subscribe, and follow us on Twitter. All right, peace.